Proposed natural gas power plant in Superior continues to divide residents and city leaders. That was made especially clear outside City Hall this evening in Superior. Northern News Now's Cara Kopp was there.
Outside Superior City Hall late Tuesday stood hundreds of union workers chanting, "We support NTEC." Among them was Dan Olson.
We're hoping that the City Council, the Mayor, and the Plan Commission will understand why we're here.
And that's to ask them to support Minnesota Power's proposed Nemadji Trail Energy Center project, a natural gas power plant that would sit near Enbridge Energy Center.
There's a lot of people that want to get from fossil fuel to renewable energy. And the natural gas power plant that's being proposed here is a step in the right direction.
Olson and others rallying today also made clear the plant would mean job creation.
We've signed an agreement with Minnesota Power, Dairyland Power, and Basin Electric to have this project 100% union built.
However, NTEC isn't being supported by some inside City Hall, including Mayor Jim Payne.
There's no amount of money that will cause me to sell out the health and safety of the people that live here.
Payne is not happy with the facility's proposed location next to Lake Superior and the Nemadji River.
A lot of the information we've been provided from the developers really just is not true, and they're misleading on a lot of points and not providing all of the real facts about this plant.
And as for jobs, the mayor says another big project coming soon will bring many more.
At its very best, this plant will be 350 construction jobs, compared to the Blotnick Bridge alone would be 12,000.
City leaders and union workers at odds over a project that still faces regulatory hurdles. In Superior, Cara Kopp, Northern News Now.
We did reach out to Minnesota Power tonight for a statement. We did not hear back by news time.